Everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Deep voice. So I'm going to talk about 10 tips to grow your local business. If you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter. That'd be awesome. And if I say anything really profound, you could hashtag local business it. And that just makes me feel awesome. So, if any of you are starting a local business or working for someone with a local business, or just trying to understand, like, what do I do? How do I get people to my site? How do I grow this business? I'm hopefully going to help you get there. So just a quick overview of what I'm going to go over. I'm going to start kind of with overall strategy. Some of this might be like 101 business type stuff, but I really want to kind of help get everyone in the mindset of how you should think about approaching targeting your market and what's going to be most effective for you, finding the right opportunities out there, kind of just establishing your presence on the web, or even in general and just in business. So that's kind of going to lead us into finding your piece of the pie. Like, what are you guys good at? What are you guys going to be the leaders at targeting? Repeat, I'll get into what that means. We'll talk a little bit, we'll get more detailed later in the presentation. We'll talk about local search. We'll talk about mobile. We'll talk about directories. We'll talk about not sucking. We'll talk about social media, and we'll talk about tracking. Tracking should not be last, but it is, and I apologize. So tip number 1, strategy. What is your website strategy? So a lot of people start, they have a business, and they're like, hey, we need a website, so let's build a website. And we should do it because we should have a website. And that doesn't really make sense. I mean, what are you going to have on your website? Oh, we could have an About Us section. We could have a section about our services. That's all good stuff. But you really need to understand your main being. You need to understand why you are actually important and why people should give a crap. So, you need to think about building a website and not having a strategy is like naming a band before you write a song. So, what are you all about? What is your sound? Yes, and that was my quote.
Hashtag that.
Hashtag. So, what are you all about? What is your sound? What makes you different? And who are your fans going to be? And the same can kind of go for your business and go for your presence on the web. And this seems very simple and elementary, but it can be very important with how you can approach your target creatively. So how do we figure out our strategy? We need to figure out the problem we solve. We provide XYZ service for families in the central PA region. And this will help us understand why should our target market give a crap? So we're able to answer, because I can do XYZ really well. In your target audience, well, since I can do XYZ really well in the central PA area, my perfect target market is ABC. So let me just catch up in my notes here. Knowing your audience and why they should give a crap and what that's going to help you do. So it'll help you understand, what kind of tone do you need to have on your site. Are we talking to skateboarders? Are we talking to business owners? Are we talking to construction company owners? Understanding the target market initially and being able to craft the content on your site outside of keywords and everything else is going to help you convert better at the end of the day, if you're able to speak true to those individuals. So again, understand your target from the beginning. That's going to help you then lead into what the whole reason and strategy for your website is. Is it a lead generation tool? Are we trying to build a community to promote some nonprofit? What exactly are we trying to do? And what is our main goal at the end of the day? And again, where does your audience actually live? Are they very active in social media? Are they not active in social media? Does that not make sense for you? How do they look for information? So again, understanding what problem you solve, who that target is, can get you in that mindset of thinking about what people are actually going to use to search for you and to find a solution to the problem that they have. So this takes me to tip number 2. And I know this isn't getting into internet marketing yet, which is why you guys are here. but believe me, it'll help you understand the method to my madness. My wife thinks I'm totally mad. So anyway, tip number 2, finding your piece of the pie, picking your battles. You need to understand that, and I think everyone in this room understands that in business it's incredibly difficult to take out number 1 when number 1 has been there for years and has developed, you know, a major reputation in the brand about, you know, what they are. So I think this is especially important for local business because there's so many people out there playing the game, and they're all playing the same game, they're all going after it kind of the same way. So I'm going to use HVAC contractor. My dad was an HVAC contractor, so I apologize for using that throughout this whole presentation. But I think it makes sense because there are a lot of HVAC contractors out there, and they're all kind of doing somewhat of the same thing as far as how they're targeting people. So this kind of takes me back to why people should give a crap part 2. Setting yourself apart and finding what you can actually dominate. So instead of saying I'm an HVAC contractor, or I'm going to target the term HVAC contractors, you need to figure out what are you really good at that no one else is good at, or what are you doing that no one else has really promoted or went after yet. Because this is a new local business, you kind of need to start somewhere. And starting somewhere where you can actually be number 1, go after something that a lot of people aren't going after initially is going to help you be successful and it'll help you build momentum so you can go after some of those big players later in the game. So for example, we are a leading HVAC contractor that puts together BTU calculations for your home. At the end of the day, it helps you save a lot of money because we get exactly what you need. It'll save you in installation, it'll save you in monthly energy bills, and et cetera, et cetera. So we're understanding kind of what our core competency is. So what does that do for us? It sets you apart, it makes you different from your market, it allows you to establish being number 1 in an area, and sometimes that area is low-hanging fruit, no one else is going after it. Again, why am I ranting about all this crap? It takes me to number 3, targeting SEO effectively and seeing results faster for your local business. So I developed my website strategy, I figured out what makes me different, why I'm awesome, what I'm going to go after, how I'm going to start making money. So I'm going to move into my keyword research. I want to figure out how I'm going to craft my content and what I'm going to look for and how I'm going to get those people to my website. So what do? Who else does it? Who are the prospects out there that I'm going after? And how do I meet that need? It's all going to be part of kind of my research. This is a very important stage. Figuring out and again, I stole all these images, by the way, from everyone else on the web, so I didn't create anything on my own. So this was stolen. I should have given credit to whoever created it.
Not either.
So it is the cornerstone of your business. It's going to help you develop your strategy moving forward. And figuring this out, even before you figure out the band name or the name of your business, is going to be important, because it can actually affect what you call your business. Because that can actually ring true for branding and help people remember who you are and kind of set yourself apart a little bit. So we kind of start with the brainstorming process. You know, what are we going after? We're an HVAC contractor. We're an HVAC contractor in insert location, Harrisburg, Carlisle, York, whatever it may be. All right, let's go back and think about what our main strength was. Oh, it was saving people money on energy. So maybe energy audits is something we can go after. So congratulations, but I think everyone else has kind of been doing the same thing and going after the same kind of stuff. So I want to show you guys an example of kind of how I would approach looking at targeting these people, and all that crap we did before, all the brainstorming and thinking about what we're actually going to target is going to bring us all back to this right here. So what I did is, you guys can use this for free. It's the AdWords keyword research tool. I'm sure a lot of you have already used it, but here we can use that tool to do some keyword research. We have our competition that's based on a 0 to 1 scale, 1 being very competitive, and of course we have our this is local monthly searches. So in the U.S., how many people are searching for these terms? So I'm an HVAC contractor. I want to go after the HVAC contractor term. So does everyone else, and there are a lot of searches for it, but it's kind of broad. It makes sense for your industry, but everyone else is doing that. Well, okay, how about home energy audits? That's better. Competition is a little bit lower. It's a little more targeted. That's a great step. What about how to save money on heating? We did all of that exercise before so we could figure out, again, how we could creatively approach people on the web in search marketing. And a lot of people out there are asking questions. I mean, when I'm out there, I don't necessarily, I want to save money on my heating. Home energy audits isn't always going to be the first thing I think of. Sometimes being the first to market and being the person to educate that individual on what the solution is for saving money on heating is how you need to approach it initially. There's not a lot of volume out there, but if you do this on a large enough scale with a lot of different problems that people may have that are related to your industry, you can start to see an effect a lot quicker than you would going after HVAC contractors. That's a goal. I mean, you should still go after those types of things, have a diversified portfolio, but think about where the big wins are initially. Sometimes that's the low volume terms. So I figured out, okay, that's a great piece of content I can create and kind of educate people. So work that into your website. Maybe it's a blog, maybe it's a section in your FAQ. I put together a quick little wireframe of the awesome HVAC services company. They're really great. You know, you have your nav, you have your section of content. Let's educate them on how to save money on heating. And then you can start to lead them into calls to action, you know, lead them into visiting more pages on your website to learn about your HVAC services or contacting you for a free quote. So you're able to kind of meet that need initially, and you're able to lead that person into, you know, eventually converting with you. So tip number 4 is repeat steps 1, 2, and 3, and do it for all the different areas that you're targeting for your business. So it might be heating, it might be cooling, it might be plumbing, whatever it may be. Kind of strategize on how you can approach each one of those different categories a little bit differently, going after some of those low competition terms. So now I'm off my soapbox. We'll move into local search.
Cancel.
Or not.
Oh, man.
Good job.
Here, I'll lower my voice now. Gaining confidence again.
Yeah. Getting a little squealy there.
Yeah. Oh no! We're going to move into kind of thinking about our keywords a little bit more. We talked about some, you know, targeting our customers a little bit differently, you know, looking at questions that they're trying to answer. But also, you know, when you are a local business, you should really go after terms that people are looking for locally. Some people may use the HVAC repair when they're searching for a solution, and you may still get some impressions from that, but I definitely think it makes sense to create content around the different areas you service. So say you service Harrisburg, Carlisle, and York. Let's create some pages about each one of those areas, where your location is. You can do some light keyword insertion on a lot of those pages, and I think it can help you rank a little bit better because it is more specific to the query that people are going to be using out there when they're searching for services locally. So again, they're a little bit easier to target. Here are 2 examples of a location-specific query and then a broader query. And the first search results that came up for us. So Harrisburg HVAC repair, you have a local business come up first. But when you look at the broad term initially, you are going to see some mixed results. You're going to see some local, like Google local results and stuff in your search results. But your first hits are going to be bigger companies. So, you know, when you are able to kind of target more specifically those locations with the queries you're going after, you're able to be more specific, you're able to look more relevant to Google, and you're going to, again, see some results a little bit faster. These are probably going to still be very competitive for you, but in general, the last bullet point up there, 30 to 40%. Numbers vary. This is different, I think, every day you read Search Engine Watch or whatever blog you follow. Around 30 to 40% of searches are local searches. You know, people are using their location in their searches, so I think it's important to target that. Targeting your paid search with local, so it'll take time to rank. You're a new company. The realist in me is going to tell you that it's going to take time for you to see results. So you can kind of get into the game a little bit faster using paid search. What's nice is you can target specifically the locations that you service, so it's not necessarily just, oh, we service Pennsylvania. You can service down to, you know, counties, that type of thing. So if you're setting up a campaign and you have something running and it's running for the whole US, really think about targeting that. So you can just go to your settings for your campaign, you can click on edit, and you get something like this. So once you're into this, this area, you can type in specific areas. It'll kind of auto-populate. You can add it to your targeting area. They have radius targeting. You can see that up there in the top. You just put in an address, and you can build a radius around that. They also, if you see this little funny-looking icon here, if you click on that, you can get even more specific. So you can pick out these little areas or little pockets of individuals that you want to target specifically. I think this is kind of cool if you have an area that may be struggling for you as a business. You want to have some sort of special promotion for them, but the neighboring county is doing okay. I mean, you're kind of getting real micro here, but it gives you some possibilities of really targeting different areas differently. Again, like if something's struggling. So, you know, if you get that specific, like this is a great way to kind of, you know, target and strategize. But in general, I think you guys could use just radius targeting, just kind of, you know, pinpoint a little bit better. So along the lines of pay-per-click with local business, we definitely need to think mobile. Again, this is one of those percentages that changes often, but around 30% of all paid clicks are coming from tablets or smartphones. So this tells me that we all need to think about mobile. We need to think about how our site looks, how easy it is for people to get information on our site if they're using a mobile device. As you can see, just in the past few quarters, that growth has changed every single quarter, and it's going to continue to change. So right now, you guys can take advantage of this. And Scott did a little lunch and learn for us at Webpage Effects, talking a little bit more detail about the changes. But you know, Google's rolling out with making everyone advertise on all different platforms, unfortunately. But while you have the chance, you can do a specific mobile device campaign. You can create a specific mobile landing page, and you can target that for now. And you can try to see if there's room for the investment in mobile. I mean, if you compare the mobile visitors to your mobile landing page and the non-mobile searchers to your normal website, over the next few months until everyone's pushed into using the new campaigns in Google, you can start to get an understanding of, oh wow, my conversion rate is actually really good on this mobile site and this one mobile page that I created. Maybe I need to think about investing in creating a mobile site or mobile version, or changing my CSS so that my pages change a little bit depending on what device people are using. So this is kind of something you could take to your bosses. Like, hey, I set up these two campaigns. Maybe they're low spend, but you know, you can see the conversion rate's a lot higher. We need to invest in mobile, and you guys are going to be able to see a better result down the road. This is going to lead me into my next tip, but about half of users use apps for local search, and these are some of the top applications that people are using. So that obviously takes me into local directories. Now, this can help you from a link building perspective. You're creating links to your website from whether it's, you know, a local directory or an industry-specific directory. This is all going to help with your local search results. But it's also going to help you outside of just link building. It's going to help you drive leads to your website. People are using these mobile devices, and you're able to create directories for your business in a lot of these different areas. You don't always have to worry about SEO. You can start to see some traffic from those different directories. So I put together a list of a couple of different directories, some of the big ones that you guys can use that you can submit your business to, and start to just kind of get more entities out there on the web, drive a couple more signals to your website. And again, these can be revenue generators for you. You will get some business from these different areas. And there are, you know, some possibilities of finding some free directories from just a pure link building perspective. I mean, part of the algorithm is building links and getting votes to your website. So if we're using our HVAC directory, these are queries you guys can use tomorrow in search to find some directories that might be relevant for you. I would look at all these sites, go to OpenSiteExplorer.com and do a little research if you find something, just to make sure it's a quality site that you're going to submit to. But it can help you find some more opportunities out there as you kind of continue to build out your directories. Tip number 8, don't suck. Just jumping right into that one. Google Plus reviews. Just going to catch up again on my notes, I apologize. So this isn't necessarily like a web tip, but customer service matters. It's going to get customers to come back to you. It's going to get people to promote your brand. And it's going to affect your search results. And we're seeing it in its infancy right now, but I think it's going to be a bigger role in how you guys rank on the web. And we can see that with Google Plus and the reviews that people are able to use now. Google initially started, and a lot of you in this room may already know, okay, we're just going to look at keywords on the web. We're going to see how many keywords these websites are using. We're going to rank them if they're using the keywords. And that was okay for a bit, then people abused it. How about links? Let's look at links. Let's look at quality of links. Oh, social media is around. Let's look at social media influencers. You know, are people talking about this brand on the web? Are people linking to? Are people sharing this content? And now, you know, we're looking at reviews. This is a true picture of how wonderful you really are. Are people actually happy with your brand? And Google, their goal is to create the best experience for searchers. And they are trying to use as many real-world variables and influencers to affect their search results. So don't suck. That's the end of that's really what it comes down to. To continue with tip number 8, here's some examples outside of just SEO. But I mean, the more reviews you get, the more interaction you get on your local profiles like Google Local, the better off you're going to be. So you can see here's a brand that had 4 reviews. And there's one other brand out there with 4 reviews. None of the other ones really had any reviews yet. But you can see, just from looking at the search results, if you guys were searching for a service, which would be the ones you would click on first? Well, I want to see reviews. This isn't ranking. This is just, that looks more attractive. I want to see what these people are about. And then, you know, this is great because now I can go in, I can read these reviews, I can see where they're located, I can see all this information. But I mean, it gets your foot in the door. If you don't suck and you get people to write reviews for you, you know, set up a foundation from the beginning of like getting that feedback continuously. Get people to promote you. It's going to help you just from a pure click-through rate perspective. It's just, you know, people might even look at some of these other brands, but if there aren't any reviews and you have all great reviews, like this one, the first one that I showed there, these are all excellent, excellent, excellent. Everything looks great. I mean, how much more research do I really have to do? These guys are pretty awesome. They obviously care. I'm probably going to use them. So, long story short, the more interaction, the better. This can affect your exposure. It can improve your click-through rate. It can improve your conversion. I mean, you're showing right away. I don't know what a stronger call to action is, but a great review to me, you can say click here and call now all you want, but if I see a great review, I'm probably going to be more inclined to convert. And also, searches for your brand look really, really cool. So word of mouth is going to be important for your business. People are going to talk about your brand. They're going to bring you up. So when I search for a brand, and this is one of my clients, this already looks way more professional than it used to. I see a result, I see a great looking image, I kind of get a true picture of what these people are about. They don't have a lot of reviews yet, but they have one review. But in general, your brand search looks great, and people right away, they can write a review for you. So if you're setting up some sort of foundation for people to, you know, be part of that machine of creating reviews for you as you provide a service to them, it's really easy. They type in your brand, they write a review, done. So set up a process. You close a lead, you provide a service, you send a follow-up, and then you request that online review to them. An idea you may want to do if you have email marketing right now, Set up an automated email that goes out when someone's, once you can, fulfill your services to that individual with a link to your Google Plus page. They click the link, they write a review, done. Do that as much as you can. Tip number 9, social media. It is more than just tweets and funny cat pictures. If you do take away anything from this presentation, is that you should go to the website at the bottom, lolcats.com, if you're having a bad day.
That's great.
So, outside of even just having a presence on social media, it's really great as a targeting tool as you're trying to grow a brand and get people to follow you and understand what you're all about. So I'm going to actually go through a real-world example that I used in the past. I used LinkedIn ads in the past, and I saw them to be very successful. You can target by location, by company, by job title, by school, by skills, by group, by gender, by age. There's so many targeting possibilities out there. It's fantastic. And depending on what you guys actually do as a service, this could be the most effective targeting tool for you. So the example that I'm going to use, I set up a campaign in the past that was for the education market. And their service was teacher evaluation tools, teaching strategies, online masters in education programs. So our target were state DOEs, principals, lead teachers, superintendents, anyone that's kind of leading a group of teachers and helping to evaluate them and helping them to grow in their practice. So obviously my goal was to promote this teaching model, this new model to individuals that, to educate them on the model and help them to support their teachers. So this was great because obviously, all right, who's my target? It was very easy for me to target specific individuals, principals, lead teachers, state DOEs. We had different campaigns for some different states out there because every state was different with Race to the Top. So we were able to kind of go after Florida specifically and create an ad just for those people, just for DOEs, because they're decision makers. And they're the individuals that top of mind right now was one of the most important things they were thinking about at the time. So when they're in LinkedIn thinking about work, they're able to kind of see those impressions for your brand. So that's just one example that, as far as social media, outside of funny cat pictures, that, you guys can see some success from. Tip number 10, you guys are so thankful I'm almost done. Track everything you do. So set up Google Analytics if you haven't already done so. I'm sure a lot of you have, but please use it. Track everything you do. Even if you just want to get an understanding of what keywords people are using to get to your site. Are people even engaged with your site? Things like, mobile. Do I need to invest in mobile? I'm a local business. Let's see what the engagement rate is on mobile. Are people actually doing anything? Do I need to think about that more? You can get some of that information from Google Analytics. And I wrote a blog post about this, not that I'm trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but I wrote a blog post about tracking offline advertising. And as a local business, this can be very powerful for you. If you're setting up a newspaper campaign, if you bought a print ad, if you put something on a billboard, put up a vanity URL, put up a call tracking number, and see if you're getting any leads from it. Are people calling the number? Is it even worth your investment? I mean, we work in the web world. We obviously promote the web world. We think it's the best. I think it's the best for tracking, but it doesn't mean that everything else sucks. I mean, everything else can be great. It's what think about it. I mean, if you're trying to rank organically for something, and you're brand new and you're not getting rankings, all right, how do you kickstart your business? How do you get some reviews? How do you get some new customers? You might have to invest in all offline for a little bit, but you want to make sure it's working for you. So you can check out my post. Just Google tracking offline advertising. I think it's the first one. Well, that's the authority of vocationeffects.com. But just to give you a quick overview, and I talked a little bit about it. You can set up call tracking. There's a lot of different tools out there. You guys can kind of do some of your research, but it can ping Google Analytics every time someone calls that number. So usually people will set this up for their website. How many phone calls are coming from a website? But you can set it up. How many phone calls am I getting from my billboard? That type of thing. So you at least get some idea if people are actually using it. The same thing can be done with vanity URLs. So let's say it's awesomehvac.com /savings for our savings campaign for heating. You create that vanity URL, you send them to a specific landing page. That's option number one, is that you just kind of see if people are actually hitting that. The best solution, this is there's more detail about this in the blog post, but once someone hits that vanity URL, you can set up a 3-in-1 redirect that has tracking parameters on it. So the links here, they can set up Google tracking parameters. Once that 3-in-1 redirect goes through, you're able to kind of track that individual as being from a source, whether it's billboard, print ad, whatever it may be, and you can kind of track them throughout your website and kind of see if they're converting, that type of thing. So, oh god, another slide. Understand that your website is the center of everything when you're kind of working in web. So like everything I do, and this is important for small businesses because like people are stretched thin. They got a lot on their plate. They're trying to figure out what's the biggest priority. So I build a social community because it does X, Y, Z for my business. It helps me generate leads because it does this and this and this. Or I ask customers. I invest time in getting customers to write me reviews on Google+, because it'll help my local search results, it'll help me bring more people into my business, it'll help them convert at a higher rate. So every time you're looking at new opportunities, always think about what's the end goal. Is his end goal, it doesn't have to directly create leads, but is it going to help me promote my business to create more leads for my business? So that's kind of my last input. That was actually tip number 11, so I apologize, I went over. That's the end.